Hey guys, today is a Chronicle from the Couch day. So it's a nice, peaceful, relaxing Sunday, and today is a good day. I have such a sense of calm and fulfillment and peace and tranquility deep within me, which is not often there because there's a lot of worries and cares and concerns in the world and in my own life, which leaves one with more of a sense of anxiety and stress and concern. So it's always nice to have these kind of days. And it just got me thinking about many, many things. There's a very famous movie 30 odd years ago now that there's a line, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And if you don't know which movie I'm talking about, I'll hint. It starts with Forest and then it ends with Gump. I don't know if things like that get struck off YouTube. I hope not, because I'm still new at all of this. Anyway, and it's a cliche, it's an old saying. Because actually, if you don't know which chocolate you're about to eat, just look at the key. There's normally a key on the box or on the packet to tell you what content the chocolate contains that you're about to eat. But life isn't like that, unfortunately. Life isn't that simple or that easy. And it's interesting to me that, in essence, when you're born, you don't have any control over where you're going to end up or who you're going to end up with. You just arrive in the world, like all of us, in the country of your birth, nationality, and to the parents that you're born with, and you just can't control that. But what you can control over the course of your lifetime are your decisions and your choices that you make. And something I saw on YouTube this morning, which was really so sad, and it's unfortunately not rare, it's all too common. One of those live police cam, live footage type things. There's a lot of them on YouTube at the moment where the cops are wearing their vests with live video footage going on, and they post it, and you see everything. I think it's weird that they don't even blur people's faces and stuff. But anyway, there they are, And so the one that I was watching this morning was quite hectic because the cops get called to a woman who's walking in the rain, and the report is that she's got children with her, but something doesn't look right. So when they arrive and they show the body cam footage, this woman is walking down a pavement with a toddler in a really shabby looking onesie, but the toddler's barefoot and probably only about 2 to 3 years old, in the rain, kind of crying and a little bit distressed. And strapped to her front, she's got one of those baby carriers, those strap-on things, and there's a baby in there, which to all intents and purposes doesn't look very okay. The baby's not moving, and the cops are constantly asking her in the footage, is the baby okay? And the legs are, dangling out on either side, and there's no clothes on the baby, there's no shoes, it's cold. And the cops comment in the footage, hey, is your baby okay? The baby's very cold, let's check. But the minute they start engaging with this woman and interacting with her, you can see that she's clearly on something. She's not in her right mind. She's not behaving normally or rationally. She's not acting like a mother. She's acting like a fruitcake, a deranged loony, to be honest. And eventually the cops intervene and start the process of literally making her stand still, firstly, because she just wouldn't stand still. But then they start firstly taking the toddler away from her. And it's heart-wrenching to see how the toddler clings to the female police officer and just holds on, clearly feeling comforted and safe and warm where, that's been lacking. And they eventually manage to get the baby off of her. And thankfully, the baby's just, I don't know, either super cold, hungry, or who knows. The baby is eventually roused and does wake up. But the way this woman behaves on camera is mind-boggling and embarrassing, quite frankly. And it got me to thinking, and what I wanted to start speaking about and what I'm going to do in videos ongoing, because I want to do, a casual conversational type chat with you guys out there, by way of offering support and offering care and offering hope and help and love. I'm in no way a qualified professional, so nothing I ever say in these videos is intended to be advice or, medical advice of any sort. It's just one person to another, one human to another. I've been through stuff. I grew up with alcoholic parents. So I didn't choose to be born into my family. I didn't choose for my parents to be alcoholic. I didn't choose for any of that. But I did have choices to make along the way later on in life. When the opportunity was there for me to also start drinking and indulging, my parents had enough of it lying around, and half the time they were incapacitated, so they weren't even aware of if we wanted to, or if we did. They wouldn't have known or stopped us. But I made a choice early on when I watched them and watched the way they lived and conducted themselves, that I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to behave that way. And when I grew up, I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that I'm any better or perfect, but just to encourage you people, if you are in a family where somebody is, using substances and is making your life really difficult and challenging, and there are all kinds of things you're having to deal with, or if you're the person on the other side using and doing these things, and perhaps you feel stuck and you don't know how to stop, or you're not even aware of the fact that you're actually causing a lot of misery, and you really are making, especially the young people, you're making their lives extremely miserable. But nothing I'm saying ever in any of my videos is meant to be a pointing of a finger or an accusation, or a criticism. It's all about, like I keep saying in the video, stop and think, people. Life is about choices and decisions. And yes, sometimes we make a mistake. We go wrong. We take the wrong path. Life is a journey from point A to point B. We all get born and we know what point B is. It's kind of when we leave the mortal coil, right? When we shuffle off the earthly plane. And in between A and B, we've got this meandering path of choices and directions and decisions. And life is too short to make poor decisions. But if you have made poor decisions, there's no time to waste in stopping and saying, wait a minute, let me rethink this, let me analyze, let me look at, let me stop and think, what about if I make a change? If you don't know how to change, or if it seems too difficult or too overwhelming, I want to just reassure you that there is always somebody out there who is willing, who does care, who is interested in holding a hand and being a help and being a source of comfort for you to lean on. There are places where one can go to get help with stuff as well. I just want to encourage people out there, make good decisions and choices, especially if you need to make some changes from something that wasn't necessarily a good decision or a good choice. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel like you're not coping. It's okay to feel angry, frustrated, all of these things. It's normal. Those are human emotions and human experiences. But I want to encourage everybody out there, don't be stuck in a place that is causing you pain and discomfort and distress and anxiety and fear and all of these things. We sometimes get so stuck in our circumstances, especially if we are younger, but it can happen to anybody, where we don't feel like we've got a choice, where we don't feel like we can change or move or leave or do something different. And I just want to encourage you, there is always a choice. There is always some way to find help, rather than taking drastic actions or letting things get out of control to the point where you are putting 2 little children at risk because you're so out of your mind you don't even know what you're doing anymore. I want to keep these videos short, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up at this point, but I'm going to be talking ongoing about stuff like this, just to make people realize that, what, it's time that we all start caring about each other, that we all start realizing that we need to stand with one another, that we need to hold hands with one another, and be there for others who may be struggling and going through stuff. We need to be open about stuff and not be embarrassed or shy or afraid. I can't express myself. I can't tell anyone what I'm thinking or feeling. What will they say? What will they think? No, that's actually not true. Those are lies that we end up getting in our heads and that we believe, but it's not true. People really do care. Not all, you've got to pick and choose sometimes. Sometimes people you reach out to won't always respond or be very kind or very sympathetic or understanding. But the point is, don't give up. Don't stop looking for help. Don't stop reaching out or trying the next option or the next thing. Talk to the neighbor, talk to the friend, talk to a teacher, talk to somebody you trust, talk to anybody, but just don't keep it in. And don't just sit on these things and let them build and grow and fester, because the end result is never a good thing. Okay, hope that wasn't too vague. Hope that wasn't too bizarre and weird and whatever. But bear with me, stick with me, come back for more, because in theory I'll get better at this. And there's a lot more that I want to share, you know, because I really just want to be an encouragement and a source of help and friendship to anybody who needs it. All right, catch you soon.